to the Business Workshop Podcast, where we bring all types of businesses and entrepreneurs into the shop to share their stories so we can all grow our individual business and help each other grow together. But first, I'm your host, Josh Handler, co-founder of the Handler Zimmerman team over at Keller Williams Realty Elite. If you have a home you're looking to sell, reach out to me to help answer any questions or concerns about the process, or if you're just curious what your home is worth today. If you're looking to buy, we have you under control as well. Our team is here for you, 516-732-6398. But again, let's get into it. Today, we have in the workshop, Femi 1, Femi 2, the whole Femi crew is here.
The Femis are in the building.
They're in the building, sneakers and all.
Yes.
We're going to talk about what it is like being a realtor, what it was like from being a realtor years ago to getting into the real estate industry now, and things that all realtors should be doing to be successful like these gentlemen here are today. So again, guys, welcome to the workshop. Let's put on a class.
No problem. Thanks for having us.
So let's get right into it. Give everybody, who don't know who you guys are, which they should at this point, but if they don't for some reason, give us a little elevator pitch, who you guys are, and start from there.
Name is Femi Banjo. On the socials, you know me as Femi the Agent. In the business now 20 years.
Shit, I didn't know it was that long, actually. 20 years?
Yeah, I got going into 20 years. He'll be 20 next month, so I got my license before he was born. Been doing real estate,
So what did you do before real estate?
I was doing medical billing.
Okay.
And in between doing medical billing and working at cable company, Cablevision, I was also buying and fixing cars and selling cars. So I was doing that in between, trying to make ends meet like
right,
everybody else.
A, B, and C, putting it all together. And just...
I'm Nigerian. We do a bunch of stuff. This is what we do. So I did everything. So yeah.
At what point, what switch flipped, and you're like, I'm getting my real estate license?
For me, in the beginning, it was wanting to get the license so that I could have the inside track on finding myself a house.
Okay.
So that was my goal in the beginning, and then to also try to free up my schedule a little bit so I can spend more time with the kids. Because I didn't want anybody watching my kids. So for me, that was the goal in the beginning. So I got my license in April of 2002. Found a house in May of 2002. My son was born in May. We closed in July of 2002, and then a week after I closed on the house, I got laid off from work.
So you were like, shit, well, I guess I'm going in now.
I got to go in now. So also in the beginning, what else happened? After getting laid off from work, you buy the house, you close in July, you have till September to make the first payment.
Right,
so everybody's
right.
like, now you got more than enough time to sell the house back before you have to do anything. But, when you're dealing with small-minded people, that's how they think.
Right.
So I'm looking at them like they got 10 heads. Like, I just bought the house. Now you think that I'm going to put it back on the market and sell it? That wasn't the reason why I bought the house.
Right.
So one way or another, you got to try to figure things out, do what you need to do. And, 20 years later, I'm still
going strong.
Still going strong. Got out of that house 4.5 years after I bought it, and then we bought something bigger, and I just bought something else, so we're in the process of trying to start the construction now.
Oh, congrats!
Thank you, man. So moving to the new place, so that's what I'm doing.
It's crazy to hear because I'm still waiting to hear from someone that says I started real estate from day one because I knew that's what I wanted to do. No one grows up saying, I want to be a real estate agent.
Yeah, I think you just kind of fall into it. And I think for me also, my dad did real estate as well. He had a real estate office in Brooklyn, actually in Park Slope. But when he had the office, of course, I didn't pay any attention to it. I was like, maybe like 15, 16, but I paid no attention and wanted no parts of whatever he was doing. You know, I'm 16. I want to go play around and go get a job. Yeah, I want to do my own thing. So I wasn't thinking about real estate then, and like you said, you just sort of fall into it. I think everybody that I talk to the same thing. You didn't grow up saying that I want to be a real estate agent.
Right.
I think maybe some of the younger kids, maybe them watching us, maybe they say they want to grow up to do real estate, but I don't. You don't find a lot of people. Nah, hell no.
So and then introduce.
My name is Femi too. So yeah, I got into real estate about like a year ago, like 10 months ago, a year ago. I saw the freedom my dad was having, being around and always being at my events like basketball and stuff like that. So I always wanted to have a free schedule to be able to do what I wanted to do, and also help other people because I like helping other people with their problems and trying to sort things out.
I like that. That's one of the things that you guys both say. It's being you being there for his games, right? Which
Right.
was a big thing. I feel now that I have a 10-month-old,
Right.
and I could see what people say, like having that freedom to be able to, like what you said before. I didn't want other people to raise my kids,
Right.
so luckily, like I make my own. I have my own schedule. I can make my own schedule. My wife has her own business. She can make her own schedule.
Nice.
So we're like very lucky in that aspect.
In that aspect.
I have friends that have kids, 2 kids, where after 8 weeks of being born, like they're going into
You're going
daycare
back
or
to-
they're
yeah,
going,
and you're going
they're
back to
going
work.
back to work, and
Yeah.
somebody else is, they're raising you, and you see them half the day.
Yeah, because I have a 24-year-old as well. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Like you said, it was 2 reasons for me getting into real estate. One, like I said, to be able to free up my schedule, and then also my daughter, when she was before she was 1, she was going to a babysitter that someone recommended to me, a friend of mine, and this lady was very meticulous as far as schedule is concerned. You got to pick up the kids by 6:00. I get to the house at 6, and I see my daughter sitting there. She has a burn on her leg. She told me that it had just happened a few minutes ago. So of course, I didn't know anything at that point.
Right.
When the cops went in to go investigate, they found out that it happened around 4:30. So it was an hour and a half from the time that it happened to the time that she didn't say anything to us.
No one said anything.
No one said anything. I found out when I got there. So I'm so pissed and so furious, and I have a very short fuse. I mean, I've gotten better with it. So I just wrapped my daughter up in my jacket, and I ran her to the hospital to go make sure that she was okay. So I think that also fueled the reason for me.
One bad experience. Like,
Because that's all you need. So,
Yep.
I went through a period where we were living in Elmont at the time. So I'll tell you this. Goes back to you and I knowing that there's no excuses for everything that we do. I lived in Elmont at the time. I worked in Great Neck. My mother-in-law lived in Brooklyn. Every morning I would get up, go from Elmont to Brooklyn to drop my daughter off, leave Brooklyn, now drive to Great Neck to go to work. After work is over, drive back to Brooklyn to pick up my daughter.
You're putting on those miles,
and then come back to Elmont. So you do the things that you have to do as a parent, like you said, to make things work for you. And these are the things that we do. But I think the more that you do that, you start to say to yourself, there has to be a better way. There has to be an easy way for what we're doing. And I think for a lot of us, entrepreneurs, we just we jump out the window, we just figure things out, and that's what I did.
And that's what it comes down to. I think a lot of entrepreneurs, if you want it bad enough, that's the thing. If you want it bad enough, you will
100%.
find a way to make it work.
100%.
And if you don't want it bad enough, then you don't, because you don't care as much to try to find a way to make it work.
Absolutely, because you know what it is, man. Everybody is so full of excuses, and everybody, for us, we've been there, we've seen everything. So you can't sell me bullshit. Excuse my language.
No, you're good.
You can't sell me that, because I've been there and I've done it. So you can tell me whatever you want to tell me, but I've been there and I've done it all. When I worked at Cablevision, I'll give you my schedule again for some of the lazy ones. I worked at Cablevision from midnight to 8:30. Cablevision is in Melville. I live in Valley Stream. I leave Cablevision. I get home at around 9:30. My son at the time is 2 months old. My wife would try to keep him up so that him and I can get some sleep at the same time.
Okay.
And then I have to get up and be at the bus stop at 2:00 to pick my daughter up. So from 2:00 to 5:30, I'm home with the kids. My wife gets in. I'm out the door from 5:30. Well, from 6 to 8, I'm doing real estate. Try to get back home by 8:30 so that I can eat, shower, go to sleep at 9 o'clock, wake up at 11 o'clock, be at work at midnight. And I did this for almost 2 years.
That's a wild day.
Yeah, so these are the things that we do, like you said, to make things happen for us. And, as you're going through these things, you're saying to yourself that there has to be a better way. And
course.
it just goes back to you wanting it bad enough, and nobody's going to do it for you. So one way or another, as entrepreneurs, we got to try to figure this thing out.
Yeah, that, and like someone was just saying before, it's just it's be able to have that freedom.
Yeah.
If you want to go out and you're gonna have kids eventually one day, right? You're gonna have grandkids, and it's be like, oh, if I want to take off today because he wants to go to the zoo today, or I want to take him to a baseball game, or I want to do that. Like
I could just get up and
I
just
can get
do
up
it.
and do it. I'm not calling somebody and saying,
And
hey,
asking
I need permission.
Yeah.
Can I have off today? No, you have to come in, or you're losing your job, or
Right.
whatever the case may be.
Right.
But it comes with consequences at the same time.
100%.
We're not on a 9 to 5 schedule like half these people are. We're
Motivate yourself.
there's no one breathing down your neck. If you don't show up, you know, if you want to sleep in bed till 12 o'clock,
You can, but at the end of the day, there's nothing else that comes
You
with
know,
it.
no one's-
Everybody says that
Yeah.
they want to be entrepreneurs or they want to be real estate agents, and you want to do it because you want the freedom. Okay, God bless you.
Right.
You got the freedom now, but are you doing the things that you need to do to make sure that you're making money to
Right.
support yourself and support your family?
you can have all the freedom you want, but if you're not making money at the same time,
It really doesn't matter.
It ain't doing you very good.
It doesn't matter. Now you got to double up. Now you got to get 2 jobs because you
Yep.
didn't do the things that you needed to do when you had your freedom, quote unquote.
100%.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, so you've been in the industry for 20 plus years.
Yes.
You've been in it a year, right? So you're pretty much brand new. I only been in for coming up on 5 years.
Oh wow. Nice.
So like we're new in the game, right?
Right.
You guys are the veterans at this point, right? So
I'm the vets, but I look at you guys. Sorry to cut you off. I look at you guys
Well,
and I
that's the thing.
respect you guys and I respect what you guys are doing.
we all look at each other now because
Yes.
you know it used to be not that it used to be. What I used to think was, you know, everybody was out for themselves. You had to
Right.
fend for yourself. You couldn't really interact with each other. Nobody
Right.
was going to help each other.
Right.
Like doing podcasts and having your competitors on
Right.
would never happen. You know, people were now. I feel it's more everybody's
different
willing
ballgame.
to help each other.
Yes.
Everybody's like, listen, there's enough business out there for everybody that wants to work out there.
There's enough food for everybody to eat.
Everybody could help each other like grow and be a better
100%.
person and just be better in business in general
100%.
where these things now happen, which
Right.
I think has evolved the industry tenfold, which I think is awesome.
But you know what a lot of that has to do with, I think, you know, us respecting each other first as human beings, then we respect each other when it comes to the business, because I see that you're out there doing business. I'm out there doing business as well. So it's very easy for us to have conversations because we're basically both doing the same thing.
Right.
And then I can pick certain things. I can pick your brain when it comes to certain things, and you could do the same thing to me. So that respect factor is there, and it just makes everything else is organic. So it's easy.
Yeah, that's what I love about like doing the podcast stuff.
Right.
And like, you know, you want to ask somebody, oh, you want to grab a cup of coffee? Listen, unless you have really nothing going on, like you're not going to make time to really just go grab a
True.
cup of coffee, right?
Right.
But now you have a podcast. Now I get content out of it. You get content out of it.
Right.
Maybe somebody else listens and they learn something.
They learn
from it.
something.
And we get to learn something. Like every podcast I have, I get to now use that in some way, shape, or form
Right.
into my business. And
Right.
maybe that person picks up something that I do, or whatever the case may
100%.
be. So I think that really helps like everybody just grow as individuals, regardless of the business that you're in.
It does. Like you said, it's a completely different ballgame now. I mean, when I came into the business, like you said, it was all, everybody was for themselves, and no one would help you. No one would help do anything. They wouldn't help show you how to fill out paperwork. They wouldn't.
Nothing.
You had a question on anything, no one was going to answer that question for you. So you kind of had to fend for yourself. I mean, I've said to everybody, my first year in the business, I did one deal. That was me buying a house and my broker taking
Your
a
own
house.
house.
Yeah. So that was all that I did. I didn't know anything about anything. So, the more that you do it, people start to see that you have that drive and that desire. And it makes, then it's easier for people to want to have conversations with you because they see that you're out there actually, you're making that effort and you're doing the things that need to be done. So,
No, that's true. Now, 2-part question. We'll start, Femi. So you've been in it for only a year, right? Yeah. What has been the hardest, a couple things that you feel like is the hardest part of like getting started as a new realtor, like right now?
I think probably believe in the reality. Like the first year or your first year or your first couple of months, you're gonna go crazy like you see on Instagram or however, like whoever you're looking up to or whatever you're watching on TV. Like that's not reality.
Yeah.
You get like knocked down a bunch of times. People tell you no, slam the door in your face. I think that's more the reality people don't really tell you.
That you got to fight through. Like you're gonna get rejected how many
Yeah.
times the first year? You're gonna do, if you're lucky, how many deals?
Exactly.
Maybe 5 if you're
you're
absolutely lucky.
Yeah.
And that's busting your ass for the most part. And like but one
that's
of the,
4 more than I did
yeah.
in my first year.
And what I think is great is like you have your father like to look up to. Like he's successful in it and he knows like the ins and outs, right? So like he's seen the new school way of things that are happening now, also like the 20 years ago way, So I feel like
dinosaurs.
you're able to like meld the two and make like the ultimate like agent where you follow those things. Plus you put your own spin on it.
Yes.
Like it could really be killer.
Yeah,
You know?
100%.
So I think having a mentor, regardless if it's somebody that you're a relative to, somebody that you're building a team and you want to join a team to get that mentorship and that leadership, I think I don't know what your guys take on it, but I think it's like mandatory. I think everybody who gets their license brand new, it should be a mandatory thing to either join a team or have like a mentor that you have to like sign up with to be able to like bounce ideas off of.
I agree. I think when you come into the business not knowing anything about anything, having a mentor or somebody that you look up to that you can pick their brain, it makes everything easier for you. It can give you some sort of direction or some sort of guidance. I mean, the good thing about our company is that we have a lot of training.
Right.
which a lot of companies don't have. So I'll always say to people, even if you're coming to the business and you have no idea what you're doing, try to go to a company that at least has some sort of training.
Couldn't agree more.
That'll give you some sort of direction as to what do I do after this? Because agents will come in and you want to be just a listing agent. You don't want to deal with buyers. Then you have people that want to be just buyers agents. They don't want to deal with listings.
Mm-hmm.
You have
can't
no idea
pick
what
the
you
first.
You have no idea what you want to do. But when you get into the business, you start to figure out what your niches are, and then you can build off your niches, and then you add on other things, other ingredients to make yourself, a rock star.
And I think that's part of the problem where, one, it starts with the test.
Yes.
It's a joke. It's a 75-hour test that you spend $100 on,
Right.
and you learn absolutely nothing about the business.
Nothing.
So you get your license, you go sign up with Joe Schmo Realty,
Right.
and you're supposed to help somebody with one of the biggest assets of their life. You have no idea what you're doing,
Right.
and you didn't learn anything, and now the learning begins.
Right.
And then you go to these brokerages because you're looking for the biggest commission split only. You're not looking how you're going to learn to know what you're doing.
No one cares about that.
You don't care about training. You don't care about
The actual experience.
the experience.
Right.
You don't care about the social media aspect of trying to build a brand around your name. You just care about, I want to have a Douglas Elliman sign up, or I want to have, a Keller Williams sign up, or whatever the name
that you
the
want,
name may be that you want to be. And you're like,
I want the
what's the
fattest
split?
check. Right.
What's the split? Like, that's your question. What's the split? You don't care about anything else they offer.
Right.
What's my split? And you're not happy with the split. And
you go somewhere else and you still didn't learn anything
You
at your
didn't learn
first
nothing.
company. Now you go to the second company, you're basically going to do the same thing.
So to
it's
me,
like,
it's
to
crazy.
me, it's crazy to me. It's like, what have you done to justify for you to even think that you deserve these things that you're asking of? You have to go into a company, humble yourself, be humble enough to know that you're going there to try to learn something.
Yep.
Learn, and then you can dictate to, whatever other company that you're working at, these different things that you want. When I came in 2002, you were lucky if you got somebody to give you a 40% split, 40 to yourself and 60 to the broker.
that's wild.
Yeah.
You said that now, you'd be a spit on probably.
Yeah.
Literally.
So everybody comes in now. Everybody's a diva. Everybody has a list of their requirements or what they want, but you haven't sold a house. You haven't done a damn thing in your life,
It's
but you feel like
crazy,
these are the
actually.
things that you want.
So many people come in with their hand out.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you haven't done a single deal yet. Like, this is what I'm going to offer. Take it or leave it. Like,
That's what it is. I don't need you, with all due respect.
Like, I need to bring you in. Like, if you go somewhere else, like, I'm going to lose sleep.
I'm going to lose sleep. Yeah.
Bring me a resume with how many deals you're
Something
selling a
that you've
year.
done.
Give me
Right.
something concrete here.
Right.
And then we could talk business.
Right.
But like right now, not for nothing, you're like the scum on the shoe.
Yeah,
You know?
I'm sure you see it even more than anybody else. Josh, listen, this is what I want. This is what I need. Okay, but you got your license 2 days ago. What
Yeah.
are you talking about?
Oh, but I also want leads. I want someone to help me with my admin paperwork.
Right.
I want social media help.
Right. I need you to hire somebody to do my social media.
So all this stuff costs money.
Right.
But you want to make the highest split so you can keep everything. I have to pay for everything.
Right.
How-
I look like Dumbo here. I look like Boo Boo the Fool.
Everyone has to eat. And I was always big on that.
Yes.
And even when we give team splits out, I think we're on the generous side.
Right.
Listen, as long as we make a little bit to cover all the expenses, we could all help each
Everybody's
other grow.
happy. Yeah.
Everybody wins.
Right.
I'm not looking to train and grow agents, and then once you're out on your own, you want to leave me right away.
Right.
We put in a lot of time and effort into you,
Right.
and I want you to be happy enough there. You
want to stay around, right?
You know?
And if you decide that you want to go somewhere else, you welcome them
If
with
you want to grow,
right?
And I'm all about everybody. Listen, if I got you to point A and you're like, I want to branch out and open up my own team.
Right.
Listen, I want you to be successful. Period. So if it's opening up your own team, listen, we're always.
If that's the end all, if that's what
That's
the end
the
all
end
is
all,
for
that's
you,
the
then
end
it's all it's all good. I
but
mean,
I
at
don't
the end of
want
the day,
them to leave because there's no more value.
right?
Or they're like, I just want the bigger check.
Right.
If you're bringing value, the commission, I feel always take a second step.
And it's always going to come to
seat
you
back.
anyway. It's learn the things that you need to learn, do the things that you need to do, be a form of value for whoever that you're working with. Everything else is going to come. It'll come tenfold. Even if you're doing, let's say in your first year, you did 3 or 4 deals, but you did the right thing by those 3 or 4 people.
Yep.
When you least expect it, your phone is going to ring. I was having a
100%.
conversation with somebody yesterday, and I told them the same thing. So it's you just got to do that. As long as you show some sort of value, everything else is going to work itself out.
Yeah.
Stop worrying about, that dollar amount first. You're in it for the wrong reasons.
So that brings me to my next point, where if you get the knowledge,
Right.
and you let somebody show you the way,
Yes.
if you're doing 5 deals this year, how can I get you to 10?
10. Right.
How can I get you to 15?
Right.
If I can get you to these bigger numbers, surrounding yourself and building a brand around you,
Right.
even if you're on a team or not on a team, now you're growing. So now you're building more money in your pocket.
Yes.
You're growing. You're getting referrals.
Right.
If you're getting 90% or 100% of something, but you're doing 2 or 3 deals and you can't grow,
What's
then
the point?
What's the point?
What's the
You
point?
know, it comes down to how much business do you really want to do?
Right.
If
You
you're-
have to set those goals and really know, like you said, what you're really looking for in the business. I mean, if you're looking to grow and be in it long term, know that the money is going to come. Just find ways to educate yourself and make yourself knowledgeable and valuable enough to someone so that they want to keep you around, so that they want to feed into you.
Yep.
But if you're not doing those things, what's the point?
It's true. Now, you know, we're speaking a lot about newer agents, and I feel a lot of people are now getting into this industry because they think it's quick, easy money.
Right.
And, you know, some people get into it and they love it and they're willing to put in the work. And I think with any job, you put in the work, like you can be successful.
The
at
results
it,
are
right?
going to come.
The results will be there. And the people that don't, you know, you'll fall to the wayside.
You'll fall to
which
the wayside.
Why half of them fail, and it is what it is.
What do we have? Almost 40,000 agents
Yeah,
right
it's
now
a
that are
ridiculous
licensed,
number.
and only 10% of the 40,000 agents do business.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of what we're dealing with.
Yep. So for the people that are looking to get their license, or they're, you know, maybe doing 2 or 3 deals a year and they're looking to really get the ball rolling, what do you think in this day and age are a couple of things that they should really be focusing on to really, you know, get the ball rolling and get to, if they're doing 2 or 3 and they want to get to 6 or 7, like double their business, they're doing 5, they want to get to 10. As a newer
I
agent.
think like you said, you have to try to find a mentor. Really, you have to invest in yourself. So I always try to tell people, you know, if you're doing 2 or 3 or 4 deals a year, make sure that you're spending part of that money to
Reinvest in
to
yourself.
reinvest in yourself. You know, you're going to seminars or you're going to conferences so that you can learn different things. Make sure it's something that's geared towards the business or what you're doing. So this is going to help you. Maybe at some point you've gotten to now, you went from 5 to 10 deals. So maybe now you need a coach to help you get over that hurdle to now doing 20 or 25 deals. But you need to have somebody to hold you accountable.
Yeah.
And if you don't have any sort of accountability, then it's really all going to be a waste of time. Like, you know, myself and also we're pretty self-motivated people. We have other people that look to us. So it's like, regardless of what's going on in our lives, we always have to be on
Right.
all the time. So if you have that in you, then you'll be fine.
Yeah,
but
it's
if
just
you
that
don't,
entrepreneurship, like you just want to you just want to be the best.
Yes.
So you just want to keep pushing,
Yes.
keep pushing, and tomorrow's another day. All right, how are we going to be better than yesterday?
yeah, that's what we do. You can't look to, you know, whatever happened yesterday or the day before, you had a bad 2 or 3 days, you lost 2 or 3 deals. You know, you can't live in that space. You know, okay, you had a bad day. I'll give you the day to sulk and go over, you know, whatever you're dealing with. But tomorrow, it's a new day. It's time for us to get going. You were in a position where you put together those 2 or 3 deals. Now go back and go put together 5 or 6 deals.
Yep.
Forget about those deals and put them together again.
Now, do you guys do any type of marketing for you guys selves? Do you guys do any direct mail? Do you guys do any advertising? Like, do you guys do anything for yourselves?
A lot of marketing and a lot of direct mail, and trying to do a lot of stuff now with social media, you know, branding ourselves, since my son is working with me now. And, you know, like I said, just trying to do things differently because, you know, me being in it 20 years, I'm kind of used to doing things a certain way, but
Right.
you have to keep an open mind, and you have to grow with what's going on. You learn to do things a little bit differently. You know, I look to people like yourself and, you know, some of the newer agents who have been in 5 or 10 years or 5 or 6 years and are having a lot of success. You look at some of the things that they're doing and you try to add that to what you're doing. So, you know, it's in this business, you have to try to stay relevant with what's going on, try to stay fresh, and, you know, just pay attention to the things that people are gravitating towards, whether that be social media, whether that be videos. And you do those things so that you can keep in the know. I mean, you can continue to still do the paper advertising, but that's only going to take you but so far.
Listen, you know, what does Charles says it all the time? You got to be able to do 15 different things every day to be successful, right? It's not one avenue. It's not, you know, one thing.
It's a bunch of different things.
It's a bunch of different things together.
100%.
You know, and I think that's one of the main things a lot of new realtors don't understand, where it's, listen, I know right now technically we're not allowed to, but if it's cold calling, if it's door knocking, if it's doing social media, if it's doing print ads, if it's doing paid for, you know, sponsored ads on, you know, on Facebook, like there's a million different things that successful people are doing, you know, plus you're getting your referrals and all that, you know, totally separate, but like, you know, you're out there doing this on a daily basis. Like this is not like, oh, I cold call for 1 hour today. Like, why didn't I get a deal?
And then I give it up for the rest of the week, and I'll try again next week.
Oh, I made 300 phone calls and
nothing happened.
I didn't get nothing,
quit.
so like I'm quitting. And it's like they don't realize, you know,
you got to be consistent with what you're doing.
You got to be consistent.
That's the only way that you're going to be successful. Like you said, you're going to find 1,000 people saying no to you before you get that one yes. So, you know, always look at it as none of it is personal. As long as the people that love you and that believe in you as long as they're not rejecting you, know that when you're out there, the people are going to reject you. That's just the name of the game.
Yeah.
But everybody's not going to reject you. There is going to be somebody out there that takes to your style of doing business and your style of, just the way that you are. And you find that one person and then you just try to build off of that.
And I love that you just said, like, it's your style. Everybody's not meant to work with everybody. So you don't got to please everybody. You don't got to be fake and like try to please somebody because you want that deal so bad. Listen, be who you are.
Right.
And if it's meant to be, you're going to get that client and you're going to work together.
Right.
Like, if you don't like somebody because they curse, then we're not meant to work together.
Right.
That's fine.
Right.
If you don't like us because we're younger, that's fine.
That's fine.
If you want somebody, whatever the case may be yourself. Right. And if they like you, you're going to work with them. You don't have to put on a show to try to get a deal done. Be who you are.
Like you said, don't be fake. What a lot of people don't understand is, I can tell is when you're working out of desperation. It's going to come across in the way that you're doing business and how you're trying to force something to happen that's not meant to happen. So just be yourself, like you said. Everything else is going to fall into place. I can't be you. You can't be me.
Right.
Like at the end of the day, we
Don't
all
try.
have we all have our different styles. Listen to me, listen to you, and take those different things and then add them to whatever you're doing and cater it to your style of doing business, and you'll be fine.
Right. So what are, out of the things that you guys are doing, right? You guys are doing a bunch of different things. For a new realtor getting into the game, what do you suggest that they should be focusing on? Is it, doing mailers? Is it cold calling? Is it door knocking? Because obviously those couple items are free. It's just your time, right? But when you're new, you got nothing but time.
Right.
So what do you feel is like the number one things like brand new realtors should be doing to try to, get some deals in the pipeline?
You go.
Probably making it known that you're a realtor, like not being an undercover agent, giving out the knowledge, depending on your age, because if you're younger in your 20s, a lot of people might not be looking for houses, but down the line, they might be looking for rentals or condos or whatever the situation is. And if they're not buying something, they also have family that might be looking to do something. So you always
always knows somebody.
Somebody always knows somebody who wants to do something real estate related.
So you gotta make it known.
I agree with that because I think a lot of people, like we tell everybody, as soon as you join our team, you should give me all the people that you know, every single person. I don't care if they're a potential seller or not. Every single person put them into the system right here, and you're gonna send out a mass text, mass email, whatever the case may be. Hey, I'm in real estate. Just letting you know, if you know anybody that's looking to buy or sell, call me. Like I'm here. Like if people don't, if you walk into a room, everybody should know what you do.
100%.
And if they don't, that's on you.
The easiest part, like you said, with this business, for anybody that's new, there's 3 or 4 things that you name that you can do that's free, folks. Free. Talking to people and letting them know what you do for a living is free.
Yep.
You can do that. It doesn't cost you anything. Social media, folks, is free. So if you do these 2 things, that will bring you business. Still continue to do other things until everything starts to come together. But just door knocking on the door of, all your neighbors' doors, letting them know what you do for a living. Because for me being so competitive, it pisses me off to see a neighbor list with somebody competitive, somebody else that I know or I don't know, when that could have been a deal that I had.
I do the same thing.
And that pisses me off.
When I'm driving around like my block and I'm driving home and I see a for sale sign go up around the block from my house, I'm like, that's on me. Like, why doesn't my neighbor reach out to me?
Yeah.
And why aren't they reaching out and saying, hey, like, I know you live a block away. I know you know the area. I know you have, I know you just sold a house down the block.
Right.
Why didn't I get a phone call for a potential opportunity?
Right. You always have to start there, and then you start to build off of that. Anytime when you have an appointment, let's say an appointment with a buyer, you can, go 10 doors to the left, knock on every single door, go 10 doors right, knock on every single door, let them know that you're an agent, you just got in the business, hand out your business cards. These are the things, everybody goes past the most obvious things that you can do that doesn't cost you any money. Yep. Start from there, and then everything else will start to fall into place when you got the money. Then you can do all the other things. Yeah, 100%.
But you can switch it up until you find something that sticks. You got to do a couple different things.
That's what it is. It comes down to just doing multiple different things over and over again. So, what I love about this industry is because usually the commissions are, on average, call it 10,000.
10,000.
Right? The reward is so large that you could put in. You put in 100 hours, you're still making 100. You're still making $100 an hour.
Right.
So it's like if it takes you 100 hours of cold calling to get that one listing.
Right.
Okay, so you just made $100 an hour for that deal.
Right.
But now maybe you get lucky and you double end it. Now you just made $200.
$200 an hour.
Maybe you get a referral from this. Now it snowballs into that.
Yes.
So it's the numerical value are so high.
It is
that you could put in so much time and still come out ahead.
Yeah,
To
you
where,
just you got to do the money making activities, like you said.
Yeah.
Don't prospecting is the name of the game. You got to prospect until until your phone starts to ring, until you get your business on autopilot. You got to prospect and prospect and prospect, and never get to a point where you feel like you're too big to do that.
And
like
that
people
was
look at
my
me.
issue.
Yeah,
I should have been doing it from day one, and I
Right.
never had somebody on me like, listen, there's no reason why you can't block out 2 hours a day in the morning or whatever, and that's your cold calling block. So if someone says, "Hey, I need an appraisal. I want to see his house," I have an appointment that time. It's a stand-in appointment. Like that's what it is. So you work around it.
Right.
And until you get used to that,
Right.
which I have to get used to myself, and still to this day,
I still have to get used to it, and I'm 20 years in.
You know,
so we all have our vices and the things that we still do. None of us are perfect, but like you said, the beautiful thing about the business is that we can all have our own different styles and still all be successful at it.
right,
There's no blueprint to
right or wrong.
right or wrong. Yeah. You got to do the business. You got to be in the moment. You got to be out there around the people that are doing business. When you're around it, it's just going to be contagious, and those things that you're trying to manifest are going to come to you.
That's one thing I love about entrepreneurship, and especially about real estate in general.
Right.
You can be you.
Right.
So you guys, your thing is the sneakers, right?
Right.
Actually, we should put some on the table.
Oh, okay, sure.
If we're gonna bring them out, we might as well bring some out. But like you guys are big into the sneaker game, and everybody that knows you knows you guys are into the sneakers, right?
Yeah.
Right. You have. We'll talk about it. I don't know how many pairs, right?
About 200 pairs.
200.
I'll
So
keep it simple.
keep it simple. So it's like everybody knows that you guys are sneaker people. So when they meet you, it's not like, oh, I wonder who this person is.
Right.
Yeah.
They're like, I know. They feel like they know you because of social media. Like they know,
Right.
like I'm big into sneakers. I'm big into this. What got you into the aspect of like the sneakers in the first place?
For me, it was, when I was growing up, there was 5 of us.
Okay.
So I knew everything that I wanted. My dad wasn't going to get me. So, I'm 48 now. I've been working since I was 12. I was a paper boy. But it goes back to knowing that your parents, I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. So I had to get out there and hustle and go get the things
You wanted
that I
those
wanted.
sneakers, you were
I
working
wanted those
for.
sneakers, so I had to get out there and I had to work for it. So that's kind of where it started from. Me wanting certain things, and I knew my dad wasn't going to buy it for me. As guys, we're in high school and junior high school, we always want to be fresh.
Right.
So you want to have the latest kicks and, just those different things. And then for me, it just it started as a hobby and just kind of snowballed from there.
It means more though when you're that young and you bought it yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
It just listen. Bobby over there, his mom bought him because they
Right.
got money over there. But
Right.
like when I go out and I busted my ass for the
To get
last
it.
It's a
2
different
months
feeling.
to be
Yeah.
able to put those shoes on, you're
Yeah.
like,
It's a different respect. It's a different level of confidence that you have, that you exude.
it's like I did that.
I did that. Yeah. So it's a different feeling. You can tell me whatever you want, Bobby, but your parents bought you all those.
Right.
I hustled to get mine, and
Yeah.
I did what I had to do.
I busted my ass every
I
day
busted
to
my
put
ass.
those on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes it, more. I don't know, not touchy, but like it means more to you, like being able to now even buy all these, limited editions. These,
Right.
you're looking at shoes that are what $500 a pair plus sometimes. And
Almost 2,000.
this shoe's $2,000.
Almost 2,000. Yeah. And these right here,
That's absolutely insane.
if you look inside, you'll see they only made 2,200 pairs of these, and I have a pair that I haven't worn yet.
2133. That's wild. So now I was talking about it before you guys came, and I was like, people literally like it's an obsession where
Right.
I would be like going to the mall because I had to pick up something, and one day like randomly I would see a line of 300 people in front of like a Foot Locker before it opened.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
Are they lining
and
up
they're
for-
like, we're lining up, like, new release today, like
Right.
they only have a certain amount of pairs,
Right.
blah blah blah, and people like are camping out
Yeah.
to get these, and I never understood it.
Right.
And
It's just, I think like anything else, it depends on what your vice is. It depends on what you're into. Like for me, I'm into sneakers. I like cars. I like watches. So everybody has a different
Everybody
thing.
got their thing.
Like I talked to Charles, and Charles is not into any of those things.
Nothing.
He thinks that
he
I'm
likes
nuts.
the $20 Gap jeans.
That's
he's
it.
happy
And
as
then he's
hell.
happy, yeah.
Yeah.
And pull up with the pickup truck. But he's the most unassuming person in the world. But he does what
It's
he
so
does.
true, yeah.
It just depends on what you're into. For me, like I said, I've been on my own since I was 17. So it was always about me getting out there and doing the things that I needed to do to get what I wanted. So I've always been like that. And, like I said, my sneaker section just
Grew and
kind of,
grew.
it grew and grew. And here we are.
Listen, everyone, like you said, everyone has their thing, and like
Right.
this is
Yeah.
what makes you happy. Like this
Right.
is are you into the sneakers also?
Yeah.
So it's good.
Yeah,
'cause
he is.
so now you guys are both into it together,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
now
yeah.
you're growing it as like a
Yeah.
team again.
Yeah.
So like I think that's awesome. Like, and I think like stuff like that is what makes it all worth it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You know, so
But it goes back to, you know, the part of the reasons for why we do what we do. You know, we all have our whys as to why
Correct.
we do what we do. When it comes to this business, being able to support your family, number one, that's first. Then also being able to also feed into your, I guess, your habits or
Yeah.
your vices or whatever it is,
yeah.
without breaking a bank or without it affecting anything else that you got going on in life. Then
Right.
you know it's all good.
So like when you see something you like, and you be like, oh shit, I don't know if I could afford it. Like I don't know, it's gonna be this. Like you know, like all right, I'm busting my ass, so I can enjoy
it.
things,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And that goes into the whole point. You guys have some rental properties also, right?
Yeah.
So goes into the whole financial freedom thing. Like
Yeah.
you know, real estate's only as good as what you put into it. But
Right.
if you don't preach what we sell,
Right.
Yeah.
you're always going to be chasing that next deal because
Yeah.
you need the next check.
Yeah.
You know, I think
You got to be smart about the business. I mean, it depends on what your goal is. You know, again, like we talked about before, do you just want to be an agent for the rest of your life? And there's nothing wrong with that.
nothing.
You-
Plenty
you
of people
can-
do it.
Plenty of people do it, and it's fine. For me, it was always I want to be an agent, but I also want to buy and flip property, and I also want to have some rental property. I want to be able to own a building, like some, you know, a building on Park Avenue. So like we all have different goals and different aspirations. So that's sort of what drives me
That's
and everybody.
That's your fuel.
That's my fuel.
Yep.
So we all have different fuel, you know, different things that fuel us, and we just have to figure out a way to do the things we need to do to hustle to be able to get those goals or to be able to get to that
And-
end result.
I couldn't agree more because so many people like you need that fuel. What is your motivation, right?
Right.
And it's I want to be able to be where if I want to take off for a month because I want to take the kids to vacation in Florida or wherever I want to go, and I want to take off for a month. It's not like shit. Like I'm gonna lose a month pay. No,
Right.
I got the residual money coming in that
That'll
my
cover
bills are paid
everything
for
else.
a whole month.
Right.
Yeah.
If we want to take off, we take off we take off. If we
Right.
want to go on vacation, it's not like, oh man, what are we gonna do when we get back? We got to play catch up on all our bills. Like,
Right.
and the investment side, like that's a huge part of the real estate game.
Right.
Like, how many people that you see on TV or wherever the case may be are successful, and one way or another, it came from real estate.
came from
so
real
many
estate.
people came from real estate.
Yeah.
You know, the whole overnight successes of these whole crypto people. Listen, they make a lot of money.
Right.
I don't knock it.
I don't knock
I know
it either.
nothing about it, so I don't
You and me
speak about
both.
it.
My son does, but I stay away from
But
it.
like,
Yeah.
you know, that you know, you can be an overnight success in that.
Yeah.
Like you hit that one coin lucky and boom.
It's a hit or miss, but
real estate-
people don't preach it. Like,
Always
yeah.
up.
It's always up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for us, every overnight success that I know in this business, is 10 years in the making. You talk to Charles. You know, I've known Charles for a long time. Charles studied real estate for 4 years before buying a single house. So people don't understand those different things. And like I said, you know, for me, working an overnight schedule, having the kids during the day, doing the things that I needed to do to get me to this point. So this is not something that just happened yesterday. This took me some time before I was able to do it. And everybody needs to understand, be on your own schedule. Don't chase anybody else's schedule or worry about what somebody else is doing. Do what you need to do for yourself. Look at everybody else and use that as motivation to do the things that you need to do. As long as you do that, you'll be fine.
So, speaking of shoes,
Yes.
because I just stare at this thing. I'm like, this thing was $2,000. So, do shoes? You know, people buying Rolex watches and they're like, it's an investment. Like it goes up in value, right?
Right.
I don't wear them. I don't do nothing. It sits in its box in my closet, and I wait for the day where that $25,000 watch is now $45,000, right?
Yeah.
Is it the same value in sneakers? Do they appreciate, or like in collectors' eyes? I guess you know.
They do certain sneakers. I mean, these I paid a little under $1,000 for, and I can sell them right now for $2,000. So you do have the appreciation, you know, from the sneakers. Certain sneakers, like I said, especially when they're really limited, you can tend to get more money for it. I can show you a pair of Kobe's right now. God bless his soul, rest in peace. That you can get $100,000 for, and this was before he passed away. So
That's
the
wild.
value is there when it
That's
comes
a
to
wild sneaker.
yeah. So the value is there when it comes to sneakers. You just have to know which sneaker to buy, and you know, you have all the different sites that you can check out to get an idea of what the sneakers are worth, like the StockX's, like GOAT, and a few other sites. So you know, like anything else, it is an investment. So you know, I can buy a sneaker, and you know, I decided after buying it that I don't want the sneaker anymore. I can still sell it for more than what I paid for it.
Yeah.
Now, do you ever buy sneakers as a straight like a flip, almost like a flip, where it's like I'm buying this, I'm putting it right. Like I know a lot of people like they'll buy like hundreds of pairs of these sneakers,
Yeah.
and there's literally just like they have a stack in their bedroom, and like they're going right on eBay, they're going right on this, and like they're literally going on.
That's what a lot of the younger kids are doing. I mean, I've had a couple pairs that I bought. I mean, I bought a pair for 1,000 and I sold them in 2 days I made $800. I didn't do anything. I just put it back up. Well, yeah, I put the word out. Someone that I knew wanted them, and I made $800. Yeah, so the value is there. And then you have these younger kids that they have these things called bots where they can buy a sneaker that retail for $170 or $200.
Yeah, like 30 pairs.
And then and then flip each pair for $2,500. So you have these kids now. You commend them for their hustle and some of the different things that they're doing because they're a lot smarter than I am.
Listen,
and they're figuring it out. So there's a lot of different things that you can do in this day and age, to make money, to be an entrepreneur. So you can never sit and say that you can't make money or you got locked up and because you had this thing on your record that you can't make any money or you can't do anything for yourself. There's so many things that you could do nowadays to make money legally that there's no excuse for you to be sitting on the sidelines and being a bum. Yep. It just doesn't make any sense.
I agree. I think of the sneaker, flipping as I follow Ryan Pineda a lot on social media, and he started flipping couches. He would buy these used couches, clean them up, and then resell these couches. He had like a whole cubicle. Basically, that he would store these. People were throwing out the couches. Right. He'd pick them up, fix them up a little bit, or half of them were okay. They just needed like a little touching up, or whatever. He was flipping couches, and that's how he started making money.
There's a market nowadays for everything, man.
He makes millions of dollars.
I think it depends on your passion. If the passion is really there, it's very easy for you to flip that passion and turn it into something that could be very lucrative. You just have to be really passionate about it, and the money is always going to come. It's the same thing like for us as being entrepreneurs. We see people doing different things. When I did real estate in my first year and I only sold one house, I could have said, you know what, it's time for me to pack it up and just go back to get a 9-to-5. But I always knew that there were other people that was doing the same thing, doing real estate and making a lot of money at it. So I just had to figure out a way to try to align myself with those people. Yep. And that's what I did.
It's true. You surround yourself with the people that are successful.
100%.
And it'll push you to be the same people.
Yes. So you hang out with 4 bums, you're going to be the 5th one.
That's it.
You hang out with four rich people, you one way or another, you're going to pick up knowledge from them to be able to now level up and do the things you need to do to also, put yourself in that position. And that's what it's all about.
So what is what's the 5-year Femi duo plan? What is the goal for the 5-year? Where are we going to be in 5 years?
For me, it would be kind of laying back from actually the buying and the selling. It would be more trying to go towards the investment side, and then having my son really take over the reins if that's what he's looking to do. You just try to have everybody sort of set goals. Like you said, you got to set goals for yourself. What is what are you looking to do this for? What, like you said, what is the 5-year plan? What is the 10-year plan? Right. So, for me, it would be, owning a couple of multifamilies, owning 20-unit buildings, owning 50-unit buildings, and just dealing with that part of the business and, still doing real estate as far as dealing with buyers and sellers because I love to do it.
Right.
Like I like to help people, and every time that you help somebody, there's not always a paycheck involved at the end of it.
Correct.
But you help somebody out.
You're just doing the right thing.
You're doing it because you love to do it and you want to help somebody. Now, 6 months from now, the phone may ring and they may know a cousin that has a property that they want to sell, and that's a $50,000 check. So it's like everything shouldn't be about a check. I mean, if that's what it is for you and that's what you're chasing, fine. It's going to take you a lot longer to get to where you need to get to.
We were speaking about this prior. It's just be a good person, do the right thing.
Yeah.
If you're not chasing the money and not chasing the next commission
100%.
check, you'll grow faster. You'll get more referrals because people feel that in that person that it's not about the transaction.
Yeah.
It's about the whole.
It's very organic. There's just a whole relationship, just the whole process of what you're doing. And I think as long as you do that, you'll be fine. It took me a long time to learn that because I had my blinders on and it was just about, like you said, chasing the check, working, and also doing the real estate, trying to figure things out. But once you sort of step back from that and you start to look at it from a different point of view, it's like then start to magically sort of happen when you least expect it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So for a realtor that's in the business right now, one thing that they should change about their business or implement in their business if they don't already do it, what would your one thing that if you had to tell a realtor that they should be doing, what would it be?
I guess I would start with something simple. It's just talking to strangers. We're all raised not to talk to strangers, but then we get into the business. What do we have to do? Talk to strangers.
I say it before, I say it again. The more hands you shake, the more money you make. And people used to say, you're on Starbucks line, you're waiting for your coffee. Hey, start talking to the guy next to you. You never know. Hey, you got a long day ahead of you. All of a sudden, what do you do? oh, I'm in real estate. What do? You never know. Maybe those two businesses could help each other. You never know what you got going on. And you're just another person you met.
Yeah.
You know?
I had I'll tell a funny story before we get off. I had one of my benches that I had just gotten put up, and I got out of the car and asked the girl that was sitting on the bench if she could take a picture of me sitting on my bench. So she took the picture. She realized I was a realtor. I gave her one of my cards. She had a property that was about to go into foreclosure. I ended up buying the property and made $90,000 just from talking to a stranger. It doesn't hurt.
You could talk to.
There's a lot of you got to just talk to strangers. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to talk to strangers. I know in this day and age you have the introverts and the different people that don't want to talk to different people. But when you're in a business, you're in real estate, you cannot be a secret agent. You got to talk to people. It does not hurt to talk to people.
That's what Sirhan says. Like he has like a list. You got to talk to 5 or 10 random people a day.
There you go.
If you don't do that every day, like start there.
Yeah, you start with the most basic things and be consistent at it. If you do that for 3, 4, let's say you give yourself a goal of 6 months. If you do it for 6 months, I can guarantee things are going to come just from doing that and being consistent.
Agreed.
Just be consistent at what you're doing. Everything else is going to fall into place.
I mean, sounds pretty as easy as that.
Isn't it easy? Yeah. Like people make things more difficult than what they really need to be. Just be who you are. Like you said, you can't cater to everybody, and everybody's not going to understand the way that you are. They're not going to understand the way that you do business. And it's okay.
Yep.
That's why they have so many different agents. Maybe you don't like my style of doing things. It's fine. You can go down the block and somebody else can help you.
You'll find somebody else.
And it's all good.
So speaking about finding you, where do people find you if they want to give you a call? They're curious about the market. They want to buy or sell with you. Where do they find you? What's the best way to get a hold of you?
My phone, 917-337-3727. And you can find me on all socials at Femi the Agent. Pretty easy person to reach out to. I'm always available. I'm not, I only work 6 days, and seventh day you can't find me for a whole day. You reach out to me, I'll get back to you within the hour. If not within the hour, by the end of the day at the latest, we would have spoken.
Good.
Yeah. For me, it's just about, being accessible. If you're not accessible, then what are you doing?
It's true.
Femi the Realtor, for me on Instagram, and you could text me or call me 516-662-6824.
All right, guys. So definitely give them a follow. Reach out to them if you have any questions. You want questions on Jordans, they can help you there too.
We can help you with that too. Any sneaker, we can help you with that.
Sneakers, houses, rentals, apartment buildings, you name it.
Yeah. Anything real estate related, we can help you.
Handled.
We try to be a one-stop shop.
That's awesome. So again, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me as well. 516-732-6398. Hope you guys enjoyed that workshop. Until next time, that's a wrap.